sitting on Steam through a demo for almost 2 days now. Number one, we have this Unreal Engine, almost cartoony at the same time, atmospheric action-adventure, challenge-based, pretty new IP from Don't Nods, a game called Jusant. Well, the trailer here, if you take a look, pretty much showcases everything you really need to know about. A little bit of story, some gameplay, and most importantly, a release window of late 2023 for PCs and the next generation of consoles only.
Structures are not strictly functional. There's a sense of aesthetics, of beauty here.
It's been almost 10 years, I think, but the long-awaited sequel to Talos Principle is finally here. I mean, it's revealed finally, and man, does it seem like a different game entirely. If you're new here, this is, as you might guess, a first-person puzzle exploration game where the more you just solve and go through the story, the more you'll be left with just questions. Like, there's more questions, like the TV show The Lost. This game is coming to the next generation of consoles only, in addition to PCs, and it's set to be coming out later this year.
Is it just their symbolic value? Because the thing about puzzles is that they can be solved.
About almost 48 hours ago, the famous publishers Deadlick Entertainment revealed a first-person psycho-thriller project called Reveil. Well, watching the trailer over here, like I just did, you'll come to learn it's technically just a puzzle-heavy exploration adventure that revolves around the mysteries of a fictional house the protagonist seems to be imagining. Anyway, I don't know. This game is coming to PC sometime later this year.
So I not get used to this shattering cold in your bones that reminds me of home. We all will fade away, so I not enjoy this, and with the sound of your shattering bones, start this game.
In case you missed out on its reveal at the PC Gaming Show last year, we've gone ever since one of the biggest reveals of the year, what was initially a science fiction-based thriller called The Invincible. This might come as a bit of a surprise, but Invincible is set in the same universe of the World of Reigns 3, the game, technically on Mars, and being built with the use of Unreal Engine 5. This game is coming for PCs and the next generation of consoles only in about a few months, we hear.
So, there was life here before. Everything that happened here overwhelms me.
Not every mission ends in success, Doctor. We have to save what we can. Save you.
What is there to understand? We have to destroy it. Even if it means destroying everything.
aboard the boat, we have met Professor Sophocles Sarcophagus, an eminent Egyptologist.
Probably the second time that we're mentioning this in the list. We've got over here from August last year by the same developers of Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo the game, which is another adventure, although action game. Y'all might have known about this one with a pretty short cinematic from last year, a Tintin game called Tintin Reporter, Cigars of the Pharaoh. Anyway, here's some gameplay. This adventure puzzler is probably story heavy, on the way for all consoles and PCs, even Switch around November.
I shall keep you posted. Yours faithfully, Tintin.
Yeah. Took me weeks to track them down. They hadn't cast so much as a shadow. Till that night.
At number 6, by the Telltale folks, we've got over here The Wolf Among Us 2, announced almost half a decade ago, and ever since, were one of the most anticipated detective noir visual novel games in the making. Now, those of you who have been waiting here, The Wolf Among Us 2 just got itself a release window of no longer 2023, but early to mid 2024. The game is now coming to all platforms, including Switch. It's not a sequel, the game will actually start from scratch, creating a new story arc for Bixby and other characters.
Something like that.
Your boss, Miss White, said things didn't go as planned. She mentioned that there was some violence? In the moments when you find yourself losing control. How does the anger manifest itself?
Announced roughly a year ago, here with us today, with this official gameplay showcasing, we've got over here at number 7, Shadow of Doubt. This is a classic style retro science fiction just noir detective stealth game. Shadow of Doubt is actually available on PCs through early access, on Steam, with pretty much nothing but positive acclaim ever since 2 months ago. Mixing voxel based with, 3D exploration, this game's releasing fully for the same platform by the end of the year.
No, get out! They haven't finished it!
Oh, Sleeper's finished, aren't you? We had a deal, Sleeper, and yet, here you are, risking it all to try and break our contract to end your dependence.
Announced during the PC gaming show a couple of weeks ago, we've got over here Citizen Sleeper 2, coming soon to PCs only, and this time putting you in an all-new field into a ship first, whilst delivering an almost similar backstory to the first game. Those of you new here, this is a tabletop RPG, almost a visual novel in feel, but a little different. The thing is, if you do like a good story, if you do enjoy a good story, narrative-driven games, this sequel over here promises the same quality of the first game, if not even more. Developers said this actually works like an entry point. Check it out, the game's coming out to PCs later this year.
I invested in you. But then, you went and did this. And now, you don't need this. And I don't need you anymore either.
Sleeper, go! Now! To the ship!
Number 9, we've got the Inquisitor. Previously titled the Inquisitor, now retitled to just Inquisitor. What we came to understand initially as a story-driven action-adventure based on a series of books about this alternative history where Jesus Christ responds to his crucifixion with rage rather than forgiveness. It's that kind of a game. This masterpiece, I'd like to think of a project, is now coming around in the final quarter of 2023 for PCs, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X only.
You destroyed my beautiful cross! Woe upon you! The centurion threw himself at the Messiah, sword in hand, but Jesus did not allow him to strike. He who raises the cross dies by the cross. He seized the broken arm of the cross and struck first. Emperor Tiberius became wroth upon learning that. He decided to deal with Christ personally. You killed my loyal servant. It'll cost you your head, that I swear. Jesus snatched the centurion's sword and cut off Tiberius's head, thus fulfilling the oath and payment of one head. And that is how Christ claimed the throne of the empire.
Isn't it, Asher? And you've managed to bend, if not nearly break it.
Coming up behind that, we've got a remake version of the virtual reality time-traveling adventure game The Wanderer from the same original developers who also came up with the game M-Theory. The Wanderer over here is now rebranded to The Fragments of Fate and will launch for PCs in the PlayStation 5. Technically, they're virtual reality headsets with better visuals. You can now swim, jump, crouch, climb, zipline, and just swing your way through the time, all while going through the same story and more. Check it out in case you missed it.
Hitch up your britches, Asher. Something tells me we're in for one hell of an adventure!
Eagle? We still have no response from you. We presume the worst.
I've been at this a long time. When there's a treasure this big, I make it my business to know about it. The coordinates on that data drive, they're for the MK core.
We got a job, Baratnas.
Cox promised us a real payday. He said, give me 3 months, and you never have to work again.
Announced a little over a year ago by Telltale Games as one of the biggest TV game projects ever since the gameplay trailer dropped last month, we've got the Expanse finding life in the gaming industry. I've said it a dozen times already, with not just Telltale, but Tech9, developers of the Life is Strange partly, collaborating on it. Expanse, the Telltale series, is an adventure game that acts as a prequel to the TV series and now finally releasing on July 27.
What are you waiting for?
Stations! On my word, loose a PDC volley, then turn and burn.
Just like series. Only this time no dolls to keep you on the leash, yeah?
I hope that my actions on this ship can offer some amends for my past.
Whatever this treasure is, the one thing we know is that it will change everything.
So are you going to spend the rest of your oxygen feeling sorry for yourself? Or are you going to get to work?
Maybe just about the most relaxing single-player adventure game on the horizon that's actually coming out this year. In case you haven't got a glimpse of it yet, at the Game Awards last year, we've got over here number 12 a game called Naiad, I don't know, which is technically a child's adventure of an idea. Just a collection of feelings one could experience if they just laid on their back on a sunny day at a lake or something. Anyway, this game is releasing for PCs and consoles as well later this year. Coming from the publishers, developers of Twinsen's Little Big Adventure and Twinsen's Little Big Adventure 2, we've got over here the remastered versions of both games coming to PCs and Switch early next year. If you're new here like me, this is a series of classic action adventures released back in 1994 as one of the first developers who blended platforming, puzzling, and exploration. Check it out. Both games are being built with the use of Unreal Engine 5 now.
Into the past so badly.
I just want to see her again. One more time.
I need to find out what happened to my father. It's haunted me all my life.
Same story here, coming from the same developers of Unavowed. We've got over here in development for over a year now, another indie point-and-click adventure game called Old Skies. Well, actually set in the same universe as the same developers' Blackwell series, although about the life of a time traveler agent who visits places in the past on the behalf of paying clients. Here's a trailer. The game is coming to PCs only, possibly by the end of the year.
Good God, what a day. Time travel. It's a job like any other, I suppose. I sometimes wonder, why was I chosen for this? I know I'm not like most people. I'm not like you. Your timeline can change. One wrong choice, and you never existed. But not me. I'm immune to all that. Can you imagine seeing all the paths not taken all at once?
And last but not least, also coming from Don't Not, the fine creators of the first game in the list, we've got over here the company's latest game in the making ever since last year called Harmony, The Fall of Reveil. Perhaps an even more innovative game in nature compared to the first one, where you play as a gifted girl that can see the future and trying to stop an apocalypse by predicting it. Take a look. This game is actually available since today.
Aid you in any way we can. Aspirations are intrinsically linked to your world and your kind. Surprise.